check your message. I sent you my slide so that you can help us know. So you can just present the slide.
Okay, just give me minutes to sort that out.
Okay, thank you very
All
much.
right. Thank you.
So, as I was saying, I really love it to be a very interactive section. You can get your writing materials by your side, and okay, let's start. So, before I explain what SQL is, I would love to explain what a data is. So I'll make sure I explain a lot of concepts to the most simple piece and the most easiest way you can, remember. Even when you're sleeping and they wake you up, you'll be able to remember these simple terms, because it is very important to know these terms before you even know what this SQL is all about. Okay, so what is data? They say data are raw facts. Me, I love to see data. Me personally, I love to see data as, they say data is raw fact, but I just love to see it as raw material. I'll tell you why when I explain to you why data is important. Now I'll tell you why I love to see data as raw material. So data are raw facts, or in computer and in information world, is a term used for any kind of information, right? So it can be stored and processed. Example of data is numbers. It can be number, it can be text, it can be sounds, it can even be videos, images. All these things are data. So like your name or a tweet, you go to Twitter and then you tweet your name. It can be a photo, if a photo on your phone, it can be a song. Data is everything, right? So why is data important? As I told you before, I love to see data as a raw material. So now I want you to imagine that you want to cook a nice pot of rice, a nice pot of jollof rice, and then you use all these let me say you use onion, pepper, crayfish, the rice itself, to prepare it. You would nice cook. Okay, can we name some, ingredients we use for preparing jollof rice? I just want to hear you randomly name them. Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we
Okay,
use
someone
onion.
curry, someone say thyme, Chinwe
Maggie.
said water, Maggi, thank you, groundnut oil, yes, salt, yes, tomato paste, yes. So, all these things come in their own different structures and shape, right? And all these things are raw material. And when you put all these things together, you make a very delicious meal, right? So similarly, data is this raw material that you use to make decision, that you use to solve problems, and you use to understand things better. Do we all get that fact now? Are we following?
Please, can you come again? Give us the definition again.
So data is a raw material that we use to make decisions. We use them to solve problems and understand things better. Did we get that now? So as I told you, data come in different forms and shape, right? So for example, for businesses, what do you think business will use data for? This is a random question. What do you think business will use data for?
to maximize profits,
Maximize profit, yes.
For decision making.
For decision making, yes.
to reduce the cost of expenditure and maximize profits.
Exactly.
Not
So
not not only maximizing profit, is also analyzing where the difference, the
perfect.
variance is. Yeah.
Nice one.
It also
So
helps to detect weakness and the strength of the business.
beautiful. So I said businesses, they use data to track sales. They use it to understand their customers, and they use it to decide what products to make more. So scientists, what do you think scientists will use this data for?
For
Data
prediction,
Seasonality changes. Seasonality changes.
Nice. Okay.
For maintenance and
Yeah.
production
And
failures.
also individual also can be used for analyzing the various type of house.
Beautiful. So I have here that they use this data to conduct research, to analyze experiments, and to make discoveries, right? So now let's go to the government aspect of it. Governments, they use this data to plan services, to allocate resources, to understand demographics, etc. A lot of things. So where I'm arriving to is that every sector use data, whether they accept it or they don't acknowledge it, but every sector they use data, right? So different types of data, just as I told you. You remember our delicious jollof rice scenario, right? Where we use maggi, fish, salt, and everything. Okay. So now, remember I told you that data have different structures. They have different shapes, they have different size, they have different sizes. So that is to tell you that we have different type of data, which bring us to the structured data, the unstructured data, and the semi-structured data. So when we talk about the structured data, what comes to your mind? Just randomly structured, like what do you think will come to your mind?
Data that is presented in table and rows. I mean, columns and
Beautiful.
rows.
Exactly. That are well organized. This data type are very organized, and the information like they have is just like, for example, in a spreadsheet. We all know a spreadsheet, right? The way they have columns and rows, and then they are very much organized. That is a structured data. And they have, each column represents a different type of information, like name, age, address. So when we talk about unstructured, just as the name goes, unstructured, these data don't fit into a specific format. That is just the truth about it. And when you think of unstructured data, example is the email. Remember the email, the social media posts, or even a textbook. All these things are data, right? But they're unstructured. There's no clear structure to it. It's not organized in row and column. So when we talk about semi-structured data, now this type of data is mixed between the structured and then the unstructured data. Just like the JSON file, the XML, etc. So that brings us to database. Adriel, yeah, thank you very much. So database now. So I brought us all the way from data, and now I'm taking us to database, right? Now, the beautiful thing about these databases, I went to the hospital last week, and in my whole mind, I was like, wait, though, I am seeing pure database, like everything was just happening, and I was shocked. I was like, what? It's like everything is just SQL now. Like I'm now seeing database, I'm seeing everything happening. So let me take us through the whole storyline, and then you tell me before the end of this section if I should visit the hospital again, right? So database. Why I'm even smiling was because of the whole scenario that I had when I went to the hospital and I saw database. Like when you go to the hospital, can someone remember the first thing you do before you see a doctor?
Consult.
Yeah?
You have
Consult
to
the doctor.
verify.
Before you see the doctor, like the first thing you do before you see the
You,
doctor.
you have to collect your card. Get your card.
Exactly. It's correct. You have to collect your card. And if you don't have, you have to go and register for a card, right? And then when you
Yeah.
go to register for that file, you go to this room where there are lots of file. Or when you go to collect your card, you go to this room where they have lots of file arranged in a room. There's someone there standing to give you this your file. They'll ask you what's your name, You tell them, they ask you when last did you come to the hospital, you tell them, then they will now go to this place. There's how they arrange it, and then they'll just go and pick out your file and give you and be like, take your file. And you're like, wow, out of all these thousands of files, how do you know where my own is? Okay, so once I'm done explaining database, you understand why this was really very amazing to me and why I really enjoyed or was very excited about it. So just know that a database is a structured collection of data, right? Just as I told you, like example now, like you go to the hospital and you go to this room where they keep their files. That is an example of a database. So we store information about customers, products, transaction, whatever, or anything you need to track in this database. Now, I have here that database is a place where data are stored. That is another explanation of a database. And another place say database is an organized collection of data so that it can be easily accessed. That is another explanation of a database. So when you go to the hospital and then you meet them to collect your file, that very big room where they keep all the files, that's an example of a database where data is stored. And some places they call it organized collection of data. Why some places you see that they just say is a place where data is stored, right? Are we following? If we're following, I want you to just write your favorite emoji so I can move on. Okay, thank you. Yusuf, thank you. All right. That means we're all following. So that was why when I went to the hospital, I was really very excited. So why use a database in the first place? So we use a database in the first place because of storage. Now, databases are designed to store vast or very large amounts of data in a way that it can be efficient and reliable. Very large amount of data are stored in a database in a way that when you need them, you can just easily go there and get them. So imagine in that hospital now, they don't have this place where they keep this file in an organized, they don't have an organized room where they keep this file. And then you go to get your file and then they're like, your file. Oh, what is your name? Okay, they check here, it's not there. They check here, they go down. They don't have anywhere. Like they're just going everywhere, every room, every hospital looking for it. Believe me, you're not going to leave that hospital that day. But because they already have it in this room where it is already stored and organized, and then they already sectioned every aspect of it, that when you come, they just go there, bring it, give you, it makes everything easy. So it's used for storage. That room is a storage room where they store this data. So a database is a place that they store vast amounts of data. And that use of a database, it is for organization, just as I said, to make your data or to keep your data organized. The same way when you go to the hospital, just as I said, and then you're asking them, I want my file, they're looking for it everywhere. It is not organized. But because they already have a pattern in which they just store it, you tell the person, give me my file, they just give you. It is very organized and everything is easy. And because it's very organized, you can find specific information. Like you can give the person his file at any time, anywhere, right? For access, why is access there? It allows multiple people to access and update data simultaneously. So a lot of people, like a lot of workers, for example, I'm working in data analytics Elite, Adrian is working in data analytics Elite, Ray is working in data analytics Elite, maybe Yusuf is working in data analytics Elite also, and then we all want to work. Okay, so your hand is raised, and we all want to work on this, data. We can all just go there, access it, simultaneously work on that data. So your hand is raised. You have a question.
Yeah, I wanted to point attention to the fact that your slide is not moving. So if I don't know if you are still on the same page.
We're talking about database. Yes, it's fine.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So for integrity, they help to ensure data is accurate and consistent. That is the integrity aspect of why we use a database. And not forgetting the most important thing is security. Is protect sensitive information. Imagine you go to anywhere and just drop someone's file, and then anybody can just go there and pick up this file, read about the person, read all the sickness the person have. Because in that file, all your sickness, every day you come to the hospital, they write it down. What the doctor diagnosed, they write it down. The treatment the doctor have given you, they write it down. Everything. And then imagine you just go to the hospital, someone just carry and just say, hey, that woman, she's the one that have that fight that say so and so, and you're like, oh my god, how did they get this information? So for security purpose, it's very important to have a database. And this is where I would like to take us to, that we have two types of database. We have the relational database and the non-relational database. But in some places, you see it as the NoSQL database. If we're following, just react to your prayer emoji and I continue. Thank you very much. Okay, beautiful. So for this learning, we're going to be focused on the relational database, and I'm going to tell you why. So this relational database is the most common type of database, right? And then this data store this. AJ, you can go to the next slide. And then they store data in tables, with each table representing a different type of entity, like the customer or product. That is for relational database. Now, we have an application or a software application. We definitely need data, right? But the data is mostly not stored in that application. In most cases, this data is stored in a relational database. And this relational database, they need SQL, right? Now, this non-relational database, which I tell you, in some places, you see where they write no SQL database, just as the name goes. This non-relational, they don't need SQL, and that is why we're going to focus on the relational database, which is the database that need SQL. So if you get these two, then just say on the comment section, keep on going, please. So as I said, the most widely used database is the relational database. For example of the non-relational database, like the MongoDB and the rest of them, right? Why for the relational database, we have the Oracle, we have the MySQL, we have Microsoft's SQL Server, we have Postgres, and a lot of them. The next slide, please. So now I will lead us now to database management system. Database management system. Now, let me not get you lost. Remember our hospital trip that we went to the hospital, and then the first thing we did was we got our file from the data warehouse or the relational database where our file is stored, right? Can you remember that? Can we remember this story? Beautiful. Thank you very much. So now, when you go to get that file, there's someone you will meet there. Who is that person? Do we have anyone in the health section here?
An attendant.
A receptionist or an attendant.
Okay, okay, okay. Reception is or an attendant. The last time I went was one fine nurse. She was the one that got my file for me. So I don't know what is the name they call them. That maybe it's an attendant. Yeah,
They
definitely.
usually have I've worked in an hospital settings like that, and they usually have some administrative staffs which their own work, they're not healthcare worker, they're not nurse, their own job is just to basically monitor the patient records.
Beautiful, beautiful,
So they are
beautiful.
mostly receptionists. They take care of all the records and input all the necessary data. But because some hospitals may want to reduce costs, they put the work on some nurses as well.
Thank you very much, because I was a nurse that brought and I was like, okay, so this is our data management system. Database management system. Now let's take this receptionist or this nurse that you meet in front of that place. Let's take her now as the software that handle all the behind the scene work of managing the database. Remember we talk about database, right? And then we say database is where these data are kept, right? In an organized way. Who is doing that work? Who is organizing that data? Who is managing this data to make sure that everything is arranged, everything is set, everything is clean, everything is the way it is supposed to be? It is that person. Are we following? So now, in this case, in the hospital, it is that nurse I met, that receptionist that got my file for me. Now, it's the person's job to manage that place. Now, in a database, now we have what we call database management system. The person in charge of this now is this database management system is in charge to manage the database. Fine, right? So now, the database management system, it creates and modifies databases. That is, it lets you build new database or it change the structure of the existing ones. That is one. Number two, it handles data access. That is, I'm telling you the work of this database management system now. Now, it controls who can see or change the data in the database. Now, when you go to the hospital, you can't just go there, pick anybody's file, and begin to do whatever you want to do in any file. This database management system is going to manage who can see and change the data in the database, making sure that everything is secured, right? It maintains data integrity. We all know that data integrity is very important to data. That is, it makes sure that the data in the database is accurate and consistent. Then it provides a way to interact with the data. So this is where SQL comes in. This is where SQL comes in. It provides a way to interact with the data. Now, this is where SQL comes in. So, Adriel, that's the slide of SQL is very fine. So now, what is SQL? Just a random question. What do you think? What do you think is SQL? You have been hearing about SQL. What really is SQL? Anybody?
Structural query language.
Okay, nice, beautiful. Yes, structured query language. So SQL now, the acronym for SQL is structured query language, right? Now, it is a set of command that you use to communicate with a database. Now, let's not forget our hospital scenario or our hospital play now. When I went to the front desk to get my file, I communicated with the person or the nurse or the person to tell the person, hey, I want to get my file. And then she asked me, oh, what's your name? And I said, my name is Francisca Chinonye Ezabikwa. And she said, fine. SQL is the only language a relational database can understand. Are we following? Are we following? If we are, please just react to your favorite emoji. I just want to know that we're really getting the whole everything. Okay, thank you very much. So SQL is the only language that this database can understand. Not forgetting, a relational database is the only language. Now, as I went there and I told the nurse, hey, I want to get my file, she understood what I was saying and she brought my file and she gave it to me. So imagine I went there and I was speaking a language she don't understand. nothing is going to happen. She cannot get my file. She cannot give it to me. Right? So just as he said, it's the acronym for SQL is, some people call SQL SQL, and some places you see the right SQL. It's also very correct. That is also SQL. And some places also you see them call it Common Language Interface. That is also correct. That is SQL. So when you see SQL, that is SQL. When you see Common Language Interface, that is SQL also. And then SQL was produced, right, by IBM in the 1970s. That was when SQL, was, displayed or produced or introduced. It was introduced by the IBM in 1970s. And then a lot of people can call it SQL, a lot of people can call it Common Language Interface. And the most common is SQL, which is Structured Query Language. So why do you think, or why write this SQL statements to start with? Why are we writing SQL statements? So randomly, can I just hear why you think we're really communicating with this database to even start with? Why do we need to write this? Why do we need to understand the language of this database and communicate with it?
One,
Okay.
to help make retrieving of the data very easy. So when we understand the language of the database, it will be very easy for us to like retrieve the data
Uh-huh.
of the base.
Yes.
Two, for easy management.
Okay. Nice, nice, nice. I love that. Okay. Okay.
Three, so to make updating easy. So in case if we have to update any data, it will be very easier for us to update if you understand the language of the database.
Okay. Nice. Any other
And
person? Or you want to say more? Okay, fine. Say more. Say more if you want to.
so it's just like retrieving the data. If we need anything, so it will be very easy for us to like get anything we want from the database.
Thank you very much. Any other person? Any other person want to go next? To speak to it first and see if it understands you. Okay. Okay. So here I said we need to understand this so that we can ask questions about the data. Right? So for example, we can just say, show me all the customers that live in Nigeria. Right? So we understand it so we can ask the question. So we also need to understand this SQL language so that we can add new data to the database. So imagine I come to the hospital and I want to update my file and I don't know what to say. And I'm just kind of, she's just looking at me and we're just smiling at each other like, okay, what next now? And I want to just update my file. I want to collect my file, update it, to change existing data. Today I went to the hospital. I collect my file. The doctor say, "Hey, Francisca, you have malaria, oh." And then he gave me treatment for malaria. And this other day I'm having headache. I need to go and collect my file and give the doctor so I can see if I have typhoid. So when I collect this file from her, I'll take it to the doctor and say, no, it's not malaria again. It is typhoid you have. And then I have changed the existing data. For malaria now, I have typhoid. To remove data that you no longer need. This is why we need to understand this SQL language. And this is why we should be able to communicate with this database. Now, SQL we have in analysis, we have SQL in other software developers, they have their own SQL and all. But the thing about it is SQL is SQL, no matter the field of SQL you want to go into. So I want to tell us that we need SQL, different job level knowledge of SQL. Right? So the different job knowledge of SQL is very important. Like we have the basic knowledge, We have the intermediate knowledge level of SQL. We have the advanced knowledge level of SQL. And we have the bigger one. That's like those who like are like experts in SQL. So you don't have to be scared and say, oh my God, I need to know this SQL, like know it deep and be born in SQL before I can actually get a job in SQL. No, because we have different knowledge of SQL for different job purpose. So I want to take us quickly to the basic knowledge of SQL, right? So as a beginner now, all you need is just a basic SQL knowledge. So what job can you get with this basic SQL knowledge? Like business analyst, junior data analyst, or junior analyst role, software engineer, not senior, junior software engineer. Good. A basic SQL knowledge is totally fine. So that someone will not say Francisca said with basic SQL knowledge, I can go and get job as a senior software engineer, and then they come and drag me online when you go for an interview. No, a junior role, beautiful. You can have a basic SQL knowledge. Why? To get for jobs you can get with your intermediate SQL knowledge is data analyst job, data scientist job. So this is for intermediate knowledge of SQL. These are the jobs you can get. Why? For the advanced SQL, you can get data engineering job. You can get this ETL developer job. ETI developers job. Why? When you need more advanced SQL knowledge, listen now, more advanced SQL knowledge is for SQL for database developers, SQL developer. Of course, you want to be an SQL developer, you need to know the SQL like in and out, center and middle of the SQL. Because you want to develop SQL, you should know everything about it. Or you want to be a database developer, you should know everything about SQL. So with this, I hope you're not scared to say, oh my God, I don't think SQL is for me. Oh my God, I don't think I need to know. See, SQL, every domain need to know, no matter where you work, you need the knowledge of SQL. Because if you can believe it or not, every organization now is using data, and every organization now will start storing their data in a database. You can say, oh, the data in my organization is very small. Give it 2 years, it's going to be very big. This year is small. Next year, it's going to be very big. And for you to be able to get this data, easy access to this data, you need to understand the language of SQL. For you to, get this data or have easy access to this data. So the best way to learn SQL, you can learn SQL through others. You can learn it through sites, like you can go through YouTube to learn SQL. You can go online to learn SQL. You can use some data sites to learn SQL. But the best way to learn SQL is by joining an academy, have a mentor teach you, have a facilitator teach you, have a mentor you have to fall back to. This is the most easiest way to learn a skill or a data skill. When you say, okay, I want to go for self-paced learning, the thing about self-paced learning, sometimes you just lose that ginger. You just lose that interest. When the going gets tough, that is when you know that the tough gets only the tough can get going. And how can the tough get going? You need people, which are the mentors, to speak to you. You need someone to even notice that, this person, you're not learning again. No. How will someone notice that you're not learning again when you don't have someone tracking you? When you don't have an accountability partner? How will someone know that you have lost or you're lost in the data journey or in your learning journey? So to be honest, the best way for you to learn any skill is for you to join an academy where you have people like you, where you have classmates like you that are also learning what you want to learn. Sometimes you can be in class and you just feel challenged by a fellow classmate, we still learning this thing together. How come this person know this thing more than me? Was it not just last week we all started? The next time you go and read so that you can as well, learn something also. So it is very important to join an academy and have people that are also learning from you. Sometimes, again, when someone explains something, or a facilitator or a YouTuber explains something that you don't understand, the best person to explain that thing to you is a classmate. So I've been in class sometimes, and then maybe a lecturer will just say something. I know I'll not just understand what's this man saying. I'll just turn to my friend. What's up, babe? Do you understand what this man just said? And she'll just say, I'm like, oh my god, don't I can't believe this. Like, was this what I did not understand? It's very easy to learn that way. Then when you have a mentor, someone that already is using this stuff, someone that know this stuff, and then when you fall into any confusion, you can easily run to this person and say, please, I'm doing this, I don't know what next to do. Then the person can easily guide you. So if you enjoyed this section, I just want you to write on the comment section, I enjoyed this section. Thank you very much. Over enjoyed. Wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Very enjoyable. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, do you have any question? No question?
Good evening.
Good
My name is
evening.
Adere. Okay.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
mine is not really a question, but somehow like a question. Is the
Okay.
timing for the classes, is it so flexible that if I couldn't join at a particular time because I work, uh,
Okay.
would there be an opportunity to have like a recap, or there will be a recording? And if I'm not cleared with some aspects, I would have an opportunity to have a one-on-one tutor. I don't know if that's possible.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, Ray, you can answer. No problem.
All right. Thank you very much for that amazing section, Francisca. I really enjoyed, every part of that, breaking SQL down into something we can relate to in our day-to-day life is something really profound. And I'd like to say a very big thank you to you for that. Yeah, so regarding the question, classes are on Sundays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Nigerian time. That's GMT plus one, and it costs 50,000 naira. When you join our classes, you will have a mentor assigned to you from day one. So your mentor is somebody that you can have one-on-one conversation with outside of the class. So that means aside the class, when we meet on Sundays, you and your mentor can maybe schedule, other sessions based on maybe things that you don't understand or the extra help that you need, or maybe you missed class and you watched the recording and there was some part that was still unclear to you, right? The mentor will be there to guide you. And Francisca really stated the reason why, joining a community and being in a class is really important as against trying to figure it out, all by yourself. We understand that these tech tools, some of them can be very, very technical and complex. And for some of us, we don't even have we are not really strong when it comes to mathematics, right? Some of us are art students, commercial students, and we didn't really do all the mathematics. And tech itself has a bit of calculations here and there, but we actually call it logic, right? And this logic requires you to have some deep sense of reasoning, to be able to unpack, what is required of you. So we understand that you can't really navigate this thing all by yourself. And that's why we are here. We've been through the waters also. We've learned like you, and we've gained mastery. And then we are here to also empower other people and also help them gain mastery. And if the community class doesn't work for you, if you want to do a one-on-one full class, like just you and a facilitator only, you don't want to be a part of a community, yes, we also do that. Francisca, can you please drop your number on the in the chat box so that she reached out to you after this call for if she wants to do a one-on-one, you know, class. Yes. Your hand is raised, Kelechi. Kelechi, please, you have the floor. While we are doing this, we would like to test our knowledge of SQL. Those that have been a part of our masterclass, they know this already. So please, Francisca's number is already in the chat box. Please, you can take this and then send her a message. Let us know if you like to join the community or you like to have a one-on-one, you know, class with just you and a facilitator, and then all the team members will also be there to support you during your class session. So for those that have been a part of, what's the price for one-on-one is 100,000 naira. Yeah, it's just twice the community fee. It's not that outrageous. It's 100,000 naira for one-on-one class. So those that are part of the community, you know already that we take a quiz. Let's test our SQL knowledge. We have people of different levels on the call: beginners, intermediate, skilled, and then those that are experts. Let's test our knowledge of SQL and let's see, let it bet a hunger in us for those that will, that okay, based on these questions, I think I need an SQL class, because some people now they are still doubting, do I need it, do I not need it? But the test will really like help you point it out that, oh, this class is really a necessity for me, right? Or not. So I'll be dropping the link for the quiz. Please, you can start joining while I take some of the question alongside. So your hand is raised, Kelechi. You have the floor. You can ask your question.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Please, I just want to ask, what is a primary key and a foreign key in SQL?
What is a primary key
Yes, and a foreign key.
and a foreign key in SQL?
Yes, please.
All right. So when it comes to I'm trying to look for a way to break it down, because I really don't know your skill level and I don't know. Are you skilled in Power BI? Let me ask. I don't know. A lot of people here might never be skilled in Power BI, so I can't even use that as an example. But a primary key, it's a key that is unique. Means that, for example, let's use the hospital scenario that Francisca has been given, right? If in the hospital my ID is DAE Airlight 001, right? You can't have that. Is for Iremide. That's my ID, DAE Airlight 001. Francisca can go to the same hospital and have that same ID, DAE Airlight 001, right? What she'll be having is probably DAE Airlight 002 or DAE Airlight 003. So a primary key is a key that is unique, right? It will not be duplicated, right? We actually put it in a dimension table when it comes to we relating it in Power BI, right? But when it comes to a foreign key can be duplicated in a table, right? We call that fact table. So for example, now if I have DAE Light 001 as my ID, which is my primary key, and then you want to see the list of people that have had malaria in the last 5 years, right? That's in another table. My own is in my customer table. I'm in the customer register, DAE Light 001, the name Iremide Olatunji, right? In another file, right? They want to see people that have had malaria in the last 5 years. So if based on my register, my file, right, I had malaria in 2020, I had malaria in 2022, and I have malaria in 2024, right? In that malaria file, my ID will be showing 3 times there. Do you understand? Based on the number of times I've had malaria in the last 5 years. That is what we call a foreign key. Do you understand? So depending on the tables you are working on, that determines the type of key that is in that table. If you're looking at a customer table, you can have 2 customers can have the same ID number, right? But in another table where you are doing some cumulative some cumulations here, you can have a customer appear more than once there. Do you understand, Kelechi? All right, please, let's start clicking the link.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Let's start clicking the link to join the quiz. Let's test our SQL knowledge. I'm dropping the link again. Please, let's click on this. Let's do this very quickly so that we can have, time to rest. And then for those that want to join the class, I'll also be sharing you the link to the SQL Masterclass group. Please join that group so that we can take up this conversation, further ahead. So we are about 45 on this call, and I have 5 people. Please, you have 1 minute to join if you are joining. Just click on the link and join. Once it's 9:30 on dot, I'll be starting the quiz. So if you want to join us, please, you have 1 minute to do that. And we are about 45 here. I have 8 people now. Please, let's keep joining. I have 10 people now. Please, let's keep joining. Let's keep joining. And let's keep joining. Let's keep joining the quiz. Let's keep joining the quiz. Let's keep joining the quiz. Thank you very much for being here. For those that are in Nigeria, it's been a raining week. We've been having this rain back to back to back to back, and it's even currently raining at my end. So let's join. I have 14 people on the call. So we have some seconds for 9:30. If you are joining us, please let's join. We are about 40 on this call, and we are just 15 at the quiz. So please let's join. Let's join. And if you are joining, please join with your name. Somebody is joining with J. How are we going to recognize you? What if we have a gift for you at the end of the class? And then you join with letter J. That cannot be identified. So we have 19 people on the call. Nice, nice, nice. So let's keep coming. That's about half of those on the call. All right, so it's 9:30. So I will start the quiz now. If you want to join us, please, you can click on the link and join us. Say you can't see the link. I'm sending it again, please. I've pinned the link. Just click on the link and join. All right, we're starting the quiz now. Please, if you are yet to join and you want to join, you can still join even after I've started the quiz. Thank you. The code is 79. Let me drop it for you. And Pepe, please, you can stop sharing your screen so I share mine. All right, so please let's try to finish up. Please, I can't hear. We are taking a quiz. That's why. So let's try to finish up the quiz. We have 5 more minutes to finish up. Once it's 9:45, I will be ending the quiz. If you need access to the link, I'm sending the quiz link now. So please click on the link and then join the quiz. Thank you. So once it's 9:45, we'll be ending the quiz and we'll be looking at our performance as a team. Please, we have 3 more minutes to go. 3 more minutes, and then we'll be ending the quiz. Thank you. Please, let's finish up quickly.
Please give us 5. Oh, I just joined.
All right, we have 1 more minute, and then we'll be moving on to the next thing on our agenda. Thank you very much. One more minute and we are done. All right. Thank you very much to everyone who participated. We'll have to end the quiz now. If not, we'll spend the entire evening on the quiz. So thank you very much for joining. All right. Thank you so much. We have our top 3. Congratulations to Tomisin. Oh my God, I didn't even get that.
We did not finish the quiz. So
Yeah, that was because you didn't start early, you know. So looking at our class accuracy, testing our knowledge as a team, we have 43% knowledge in SQL. So that means that there is a lot of room, to learn more, to know more. Congratulations, Frederick. You had 100%, Tomisin, Rofia, Samson 95, Chisom 90, Chooks 80, Folayemi 95, Wakilu 80%. These are very good ones, but as a team, right? Our class accuracy of our knowledge of SQL is still at 43%. So that means that there's still room for growth. Yeah, so sorry if you did not finish the quiz. If you join the SQL group, we'll reschedule the quiz tomorrow for you to be able to take at your own leisure time, to aid your learning. We know because of the time constraint, we used almost over 10 minutes for this, and I feel that's more than enough time because each question is supposed for 30 seconds. So I guess we even use more than the time to have answered each question. So it's fine. We'll reschedule the quiz for those that want to keep practicing and test their knowledge of SQL. Please join the SQL Masterclass group, right? And for those that are registering for the SQL course, can I see you? Can you please raise your hand or give me your favorite emoji so that we get to know you, and then we'll send you information around the payment, and the enrollment process for you to join the SQL Academy. All right, Emmanuel, I see you. Emmanuel, I'm sending you my number right now. Just take my number. My name is Iremide. Just send me a DM right now after this call. Right, and I'll reach out to you personally. Just check the chat box, Emmanuel. My name and my phone number is there. Just send me a DM. Who else is joining us in the SQL Academy to sharpen their SQL knowledge? Who else is joining us? Who else is joining us? All right, I have Kelechi. Kelechi, that's nice. Please send me a message also, Kelechi. Send me a message. My number is on the chat box. Send me a message. Who else is joining us? Who else is joining us? We are ending this session. We are ending this session right now. And I would like to say a very big thank you to you. Oh, nice. Fred Bernard. Nice, nice, nice. Please take my number. Take my number. Take my number. Asha Nadia Nada. Did I pronounce it well? Asha.
Yeah, yes, you did.
All right, all right.
Nalda.
All right, all right. Let me add my country code to the number in case you are not in Nigeria. So I'm adding my country code now. +234 9034750619. Please send me a message. Send me a message on WhatsApp. Please send me a message on WhatsApp. Thank you very much for those that have indicated interest. If you still want to join them, but you are shy to raise your hand, or maybe you still need more questions, some clarifications before you go ahead with your enrollment, you can also send me a DM. Send me a DM this night. Let's have all of that sorted out so that we can provide you with, the information you need to enroll and sharpen your SQL knowledge. We really want to appreciate every one of you for taking time to be on this call. And we'll also like to appreciate the facilitator of this SQL Academy, the person of Francisca. She's the project coordinator training at DAE Elite. And we would like to say a very big thank you for all you do for the community and for your knowledge in SQL and for sharing your knowledge with us this evening. We do not take it for granted. We would like to say a very big thank you to you. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so, so much. I am so honored to moderate this session alongside Ejiro Gede Pepe. Thank you very much, Pepe, for being on the call. And for every of our team member at DAE Lights, would like to say a very big thank you to you as well. I see Tommy C, I see Jamiu. Thank you for supporting, the team on this particular project. So for those of you that are registered for the SQL Academy, please make sure you take my number. Do not leave without taking my number. I'm sending my number again. Make sure you take my number and you send me a message on WhatsApp so I can give you all information about the enrollment for the SQL class. The SQL class starts on Sunday. It's a 6 weeks intensive course in SQL. Classes are on Sundays, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. GMT +1. All right. So classes are for 3 hours every Sundays. However, from Monday to Saturday, we have a daily task for you to do in SQL. Something like the quiz that we have this night. Every Saturday, you'll be having a quiz like this, to test your knowledge of everything that you've learned from Monday to Friday. While from Monday to Friday, we have a platform and we'll be giving you, all the information you need to learn SQL. So you have your 30 minutes daily learning from Monday to Friday. Your mentor will be there to guide you, hold your hand, ensure that you increase in SQL knowledge day by day. On Saturday, we'll have our quiz where we'll test our knowledge, and on Sunday, we will meet for classes. However, for those joining this SQL cohort, you'll be going with a global certification exam. That's the ACA Rank SQL certification exam. And we are not charging you for that. Yes, we are not charging you for the exam preparation and for this global certification exam. For those that are into software engineering and for those that have been looking for remote jobs, either as an SQL developer, data engineer, data science, or data analyst, and is remote, you will know that the places they go to test your SQL knowledge is ACA Rank, right? So imagine having an ACA Rank certification exam. That means as you're learning SQL, we are also preparing you for a global job offer using your SQL knowledge. So this particular class is going to be loaded. It's going to be a full package and you don't want to miss it, right? From learning basic select to subqueries to joins to city, it's going to be an amazing class. Like I really can't wait to see quite a number of you in the class. If you are going to miss this class, well, I don't know what to say to you, but I advise you not to miss it. Majorly because of our course content, our learning program, and also for the global certification exam you'll be writing at the end of your 6 weeks of study. I hope to see you in class. Take my number. It's in the chat box. Please take my number. Send me a message. If you want more clarity, more information about the course, please do that because I really want as many people are on this call to be in the class session. Thank you very much and have a wonderful evening. Bye. Cheers.